So as you can see in this image, an image is divided into different sub-regions, and for each sub-region we have filtered it with all the filters that we have. For example, we have 5 filters over here, so we filter this one region with all the 5 filters, and once we have done that, we'll be having a filtered output. We generate a histogram of the filtered output by, for example, dividing the gray levels into 5 different discrete levels or 10 different discrete levels, depending upon the level of granularity in terms of the gray level features that we have. And then we start to concatenate all these histograms. Once we start to concatenate all these histograms, well, this is the feature vector that we have in the end. For example, we'll be having 5 histograms for this region, 5 histogram for this region. If we have a 4 by 4 subdivision of this image, then we'll be having 16 regions, and 16 fives are 80 different histograms which are concatenated over here. So this is how we build the descriptor for a descriptor based upon the edge histogram descriptors, which is also part of the MPEG 7 standard. Okay, among the filter-based methods, there is one more very interesting method that is based upon the Gabor filters. But before going into the detail of that descriptor, it is very important for us. We'll stop short of it and first of all talk about the textual or the texton based descriptors that we have been talking about. So there are two main steps which are there in the usage of texton based features. The first step is the generation of a histogram, or not a histogram, sorry, the generation of a texton dictionary. So let me give you the concept first. English is a language that has a specific dictionary which contains a vocabulary of all the English words that we have. Okay, so in a similar way, we have the texton dictionaries in which we have the most typical type of textures which are available. Now, how can those most typical type of textures which are available be calculated? This is how the steps they look like. So for example, if we have this is an example that has been taken for a 3-class problem. We have 3 different classes, which means, for example, we are trying to classify the 3 different animals which are there in the images. One is a dog, one is a cat, and one is a monkey. Okay, so we have the training images for dog, we have the training images for cats, and we have the training images for the monkeys. Okay, now the first step that we need to do for each group is to filter the images that we have that we have with a set of filters. So let's say that we have the filters similar to the edge histogram, to the filters that were used in the edge histogram based descriptors. 5 different types of filters. Those are the filters that we have. We filter these training images with these 5 different filters, and these are the responses. This is the response for the first filter, this is the response for the second filter, this is the response for the third filter, fourth and fifth. Okay, we are calling it the training image because based upon this training image we are generating a dictionary. That's why we are calling it the training image. Now let's say that we have a group 2 training image which corresponds to that of a dog. So we'll take each and every single training image of the dog, and then we will of the dog, and then we will try to apply the filters, these 5 different filters, on all of these training images that correspond to the dog. Then we'll take the group 3 images which correspond to the monkeys, and we'll filter all these training images with different filters that we have. So this is where the filter outputs are. Now, if we want to try and find out the most commonly occurring pattern in each of these groups, that can be done with the help of clustering. So what will clustering do? Clustering will cluster all these filter responses into different into different representative responses. So this is what clustering is going to do. And then once we have the cluster centers, those cluster centers are actually parts of the dictionary. Okay, these are the words which are available in the dictionary. Now, what happens when we have a dictionary? So, for example, this is a dictionary that we have generated. We have now let's say that we have this type of filter bank. These two are different filter banks. This is a filter bank that is composed of filters which are symmetric, and once we filter all the images, all the training images with these filters, these are the responses that we are going to obtain. But let's say that we have a filter bank having different filters and these are the shapes. We know that these are not isotropic. Okay, these are directional filters basically. So this filter is going to capture the filter responses in this direction. This filter is going to capture all the responses in the vertical direction and so on. So these are all the filters which are sensitive to direction in the textures. So once we apply this filter bank, these are the responses that we obtain. Now these are the Texton based dictionaries that we obtain after filtering the images with these different types of filter banks. Now what happens when we have an unseen image?